Hi, I'm Jay Polaki, and this is the HR Bytes podcast, where HR practitioners share their think globally and act locally digital HR agenda. Hi, everyone. Welcome to HR Bytes. My guest today is Alena Reva. Welcome to the show, Alena. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing great. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. I'm enjoying our beautiful weather in Massachusetts today.
Wonderful.
I think it's almost stopped raining.
Very good. Well, we are having a downpour here in Maryland, so let's see how that goes for the plants. I'm sure my lawn's really liking it, so it's great weather.
Yeah, that's a good point,
I
actually.
can do without the pollen. I don't like pollen at all.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Awesome. Well, Alena, you've been in the startup HR space for quite some time now. Tell us a little bit about how you got started in the space and what is exciting you at this time in the space.
Well, let me count. I mean, woman never tells, right? But I think across my 20 years in HR, I worked across 4 different startups in 4 drastically different industries. And they all spanned across, I think it was 26 different countries. So it's been a wild ride for me, for sure. And the thing that excites me about startup, it's probably the thing that excites everyone about startup. It's always great to start something from the very beginning and see this thing through growing and making an impact.
Absolutely. So all of this automation and AI for the HR function that has caught our collective imagination. And of course, there's a lot of stuff going on the back end as well for all of this technology to be integrated into our function. How do you think we should approach all this? What's been your experience?
Well, I mean, of course, could be overwhelming, right? And and in the world of HR, there's always something that's happening. And just when we are done with one thing, there's another thing that's happening, and it can be daunting. And I think with automation and with AI, the key is focusing on strategy before jumping into tools. And when you are thinking about automation, ask yourself first, what are the specific pain points we are trying to solve? For my current company, for us at Foghorn, right, at some point when we were growing, onboarding was hard, delays, confusion. So we implemented and integrated tools and ATS, and suddenly some of our bottlenecks vanished and our metrics improved significantly. And so I think that it's always about picking solutions that truly solve your problems, not just buying whatever seems trendy.
Absolutely. And, all of the big tech CEOs and folks who are behind the Gen AI revolution have been talking about how AI can be or will be smarter than humans in a year or 5 years down the line. What are your thoughts around that? And what do you foresee for HR in 2024 and beyond?
I think it's very hard to foresee anything for I am, before 2020, I think I was much braver in my forecasts. And so many things happened over past 3 years that probably will make anyone hesitant, because just think about what happened over the past 4 years, right? I just hope like that 2024 will be our year for HR. And if it's not, 2025 will be our year. But I mean, keeping like it real with AI, right? It's just, I think the big question here, right, that we're all asking, will AI take HR jobs? Will we lose this human connection? And there's a lot of fear about that technology will make things impersonal. And this is this concern is like, we understand it completely. And I prefer to think of AI as an ultimate power tool, right? What it can do, it can automate the tedious tasks. It can right now analyze huge data sets, and that's just the start. And right now, honestly, the whole industry is at the start. If you were kind of listening, the leaders, it seems like that 2 years from now, we're gonna run out of the information for AI to read. And I don't know what's going to happen after that, because there is a huge concern around the proprietary information, around where AI tools, where the learning models are going to actually get information to do something. Because right now it's all the open source information. Anyone can find out there, can read out there. So probably I would right now be hesitant about trusting professional judgment of an AI over a professional HR manager, right? However, that's the real magic that you can use, anyone can use as an HR professional, as a skilled HR professional, is to free up time to use AI for some, for really automating things that, like, creating chatbots to answer questions about, say, maybe old or new benefits plan, right? It's the and information and how many times really you want to answer the same question about HSA during open enrollment season. AI can do it for you, right? And what you can do, you can focus on what matters most at your profession. You can create maybe some personalized development plans, and you can work on things that can truly benefit people's needs and create on inclusive culture. You can create plans, all that things that leadership actually want you to do, but you never have time to do. Does it make sense?
Yes, absolutely. So that's a great segue to talk about what are you most worried about this year for the HR function in general? And if you had a magic wand, what would be your ideal solution to take over that challenge?
My worry for the HR function is always the same, is that we're gonna stay understaffed, underappreciated, and overworked. And I think probably many HR people, my HR colleagues can relate to that. And I just, what I hope that if I were to have a magic wand, it's a really great question. So I would actually do so many things. Okay. So I think when we speak about the aspirations, and I would probably focus on addressing the skills gap. We talk often about tools, but we do not talk enough about whether our HR teams are ready to use those tools well. And if it was a magic wand situation, I'd love to see companies, I'd love to see leaders investing heavily in upskilling their existing HR folks, marrying the technical know-hows with strategic HR mindset. I think that we need more of data wizards, but we need data wizards who truly understand the people side of equation. And maybe I am being biased as an HR professional myself, and I have computer engineering education. And I think that understanding the people side of things is much harder to learn than to learn data skills and computer engineering. That's just me. And I would really want to see more investments into teaching people in HR on how to do that, how to use tools better.
Thank you. So along those lines, what's one piece of advice you have for our HR colleagues who are looking to adopt or learn new technology?
I would recommend to start small and my piece of advice would be like, start small, but think big. If you want to dive into automation, if you are fascinated by what AI can bring to the business, choose one high impact project as a pilot, involve your team from the beginning, offer excellent education, and show everyone how this tech will ultimately make the work easier and more rewarding. And then you will create the buy-in and you will create the tech-empowered HR function. And from that point, you will be able to sell bigger ideas and you will be able, to go really further where you want to go.
Absolutely. So that brings us to the funner part of today's conversation, which is our question connection section, where we ask you a round of rapid fire questions and our audience gets to connect with you better. Ready?
Oh gosh, no.
All right. Well, no one is ready for this, so we'll just start.
Okay. That's reassuring. Okay.
Who's one person you've gained in your network in the HR tech space that you would like everyone to connect with, learn more about?
In the chart text space. I would recommend you to everyone.
Oh my
If that's okay. Yeah. I think I've been signed up to your podcast and I think we've been connected for a couple years now. I
Yes.
think I've been always reading HR Geckos, and I think that the way your team and you present the information on everything technology about HR is almost perfect, maybe, and it's always amazing. Yeah, and I would recommend your podcast and I've been working in technology companies and I'm not being like flattering, and it's not because I'm just completely right now, just my mind is blocked and I cannot think of anything. Not because of that. I used to work for a technology company. I have a lot of technology experts in my network. And I think that it's easy to find anyone who can speak about technology. It's much harder to find someone who understands the profession that needs that technology and speaks about the profession and the function first.
Well, thank you so much. I'll let my team know before this is published that you are one of our biggest fans. So we'll send you a sticker.
Yeah, okay.
What song would you add to an HR playlist that we are curating on Spotify?
Can I add something that is not work related? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. It's
So,
any song that you'd like to add to a playlist.
okay, I'm just right now, like my favorite song is called La Scène et Moi by Vanessa Paradis. It's from the movie called Monster in Paris. And that's because I just recently went to Paris and I was meeting, yeah. But the thing is that I I like travel related themes because I want to always remind myself to expand horizons. And also I think travel related songs help us like travel somewhere else to not get stuck in our mind, to zoom out, zoom out. I think that's the good word. The good word is I've read recently, just speaking about podcasts and books. So I've read recently the book by, I think the guy name, his name is Arthur C. Brooks. He's a professor at Harvard at Kennedy School, and he does research about happiness. And so he says that the thing about happiness, the most important thing is being able to zoom out from out of yourself, from out of your like personal things, from out of your work. And I think, and that's why I like geographical songs, because they help me to zoom out from things that I'm in right now, like, and to see the bigger picture and to see that the world is actually beautiful despite everything. And it just makes me feel happier.
Well, that's a great perspective. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. So do you have or listen to any LinkedIn Learning or kind of e-learning webinar series for HR technology or HR that you'd recommend?
I haven't listened to anything about HR technology for a while, but maybe I just, if someone can send me something, I would be happy to hear, because I'm just listening about technology in general. So because I think that things just generally in technology, they happens like, here is the technology, and then they go through adaptation of technology, and they start typically, this is how we use the technology, typically sales, generate revenue, and there's like this, and 2 years later, we use the technology for HR. So it's typically a little bit late for everything related to HR. So I prefer just to listen about the technology right off the bat. And so I would recommend right now, AI is a big thing, right? And well, it's a buzzword. I would maybe call it like this. And I would recommend to read some books about AI and its applications. And just right now, nothing comes to mind. And on LinkedIn and Learning, on LinkedIn and Learning, I recently took a lot of classes on data visualization. I don't know if it's relevant. On e-learning, also, yeah, I'm like on e-learning. I use e-learning right now to learn how to cook. I also don't know if it's relevant. I'm like, there is like this, I subscribe to Yes Chef, and I'm right now learning how to cook contornis like an Italian chef, but it's also not very relevant to HR technology.
Well, a well-fed body and mind is important for
Yeah.
HR tech. So there you go. That's the relation. So how do you, like working these days? Do you like working physically in an office location? You like the hybrid, or do you like to work fully remote?
I like the hybrid. I cannot. So one thing that I learned about myself during COVID is that I cannot be fully remote. I remember when I stepped back to the office, gosh, I miss days when my home was just my home. I realized at that point how much I hated this merge between my home and my work that I had, because my home was always my abode. And during COVID, I just couldn't like get out, out of my office space whenever I was. So, and right now I am working hybrid. And so when I need to do a focus work, when I need to really, really be in a quiet setting and do analytical work, I prefer to be at home. But office gives me energy. It gives me ideas. It gives me people connection, and it just gives me love. I've recently heard this interesting thought that when we think about physical health, right, we know that we need to go to the gym at some point. I mean, there is, of course, healthcare, but in order to maintain your body, to maintain your muscles, to maintain your physical health, you need to go to the gym, or maybe like not to the gym, but you need to exercise. And when we think about mental health, we do not think that we need to exercise our mental health as well. And the way to exercise your mental health is through talking to people, through connecting to people, through communicating with them. And I honestly think that this introduction of social media into our lives over past 20 years, it just kind of taught us didn't really teach us anything. Honestly, I think it's just almost like, I don't know, I want to call it a cancer. It created some connections, but it made us lose the real connection. And it actually made our mental health muscles weaker, because we do not practice that mental health connection, that kind of, I don't know if you could call like mental, like psychological connection to people. And that's why our mental health is probably one of the reasons why our mental health is on decline. And for me, also going out, talking to people that are not just my family, right? And just connecting to people who are not outside of my circle and getting to know them better and seeing how they do their work and getting inspired by them. It's also my way of taking care of my mental health.
Absolutely. I mean, mental well-being is so crucial. I mean, it's more important than physical well-being, if you ask me, because without that, wellness mindset, we're not going to be able to tackle any of our physical activities either. Think about it. If you're really like sad and sore and don't want to get off the couch, you're not going to be able to go exercise. And that, even if you forced yourself, that exercise is not going to do any good for you, because you're really literally forcing your body to do something it doesn't want to do, that your mind doesn't want to do, right? So there's that mind-body connection that's not in sync. So thank you for sharing that. That's a great perspective on why a hybrid work situation works better for you. So thank you, Alena, for being here on today's show. If our audience wanted to reach out to learn more and share and grow with you, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Well, they can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I am always accepting invites. I'm very inclusive to absolutely anyone. Yeah, just I think that's the best way.
Wonderful. We'll link your LinkedIn account in the show notes so they can connect with you as
Yeah.
well. So thank you everyone for listening in and tuning in today. And thank you, Alena, for sharing your wonderful insights with all of us. I learned a lot, and I'm sure our audience today took away a lot of great insights. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Listen on your favorite podcast channels and watch us on YouTube. Follow us on social. We are on LinkedIn, X, Instagram, Facebook, and Threads. Join our budding community on LinkedIn and Facebook. Ask, answer,